Good afternoon and welcome everyone to this week's edition of Reserve Review. We are here this week with a special guest, Barbara Beltram from UnitedHealth Group's Military Fellowship Program. She is the coordinator for that program. And I brought her on this week in honor of actually open enrollment at United Healthcare. They are one of our trusted partners and they employ quite a few veterans. And so this week, we really wanted to bring on someone who works for United Healthcare, and we wanted to talk to Barbara specifically about what she does, her background as a veteran, and all sorts of stuff. So Barbara, thank you so much for joining us this week. Can you start off just by introducing yourself and share a little bit about your background?
Yeah, thanks, Kaylin. So Barbara Beltram, I am the Military Fellowship Program Coordinator for United Health Group. So my role is specifically focused on transitioning active duty service members utilizing the DoD Skillbridge program. However, we also have a very large veteran population within our organization, and we are a top military-friendly employer, as well as a top military spouse employer. So veteran employment is something that's very important to the culture here. I am a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer, and I had the honor of working as a hospital corpsman. And so I'm very familiar with the Reserve Health Readiness Program and the different organizations that support Reserve Health. So that is a little bit of what United Health Group does as well, providing that insurance benefits as well as Reserve Health. United Health Group also provides a Reserve Health Readiness Program for active reserves as well. So we are involved with both the active reserve side as well as the medical side for the beneficiaries.
That's great. So I know you just touched on the fact that you're a veteran, you were in the Navy. Can you talk a little bit about why you joined the Navy in the first place, a little bit about your career path?
Yeah, so 22 years ago, I joined the Navy because I wanted to be in medicine and I didn't want to make my parents pay for medical school. So I joined the military and I ended up falling in love with it. The service that we give to each other as well as to the country, it just set well with me throughout my entire career. And I just kept re-enlisting until I got to the point where I was able to retire. It went very fast, but it was something that I got to be involved with a lot of different avenues of medicine, both in garrison with our beneficiaries and our family members, being able to serve with the Marine Corps as a hospital corpsman and deploy in that avenue, as well as supporting joint operations in Afghanistan. And it just continued to fill my cup when it comes to service and helping others.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that when everyone thinks of the Navy as on ship, but there's so many people in the Navy that are embedded with Marine Corps units or even Army units. We had a Navy personnel embedded with us as well, especially when you're in medical or like the joint services type career paths.
Yeah, definitely. I was on a ship for a total of 11 months out of 22 years. So it definitely is a broad service. And I got to serve in joint operations at a World 3 hospital, which is probably the pinnacle of my career back in 2010.
What advice would you give? I know this is kind of off topic, but not really, because the people watching this, a lot of them are serving or maybe want to serve in the military, whether it's the reserve side or active duty. Do you have any advice for people that are considering going into the military? Has it helped your career or your life in general, the path that you took?
Absolutely. I mean, military service is something that not everybody gets to do. So if there's even a consideration of wanting to be in the service, I say go for it. Get cleared and see what you can do. And even if it's 4 years of a contract, the family that you make, the experience that you have, even if you don't deploy, is just unmeasurable to anything else you'll get from any other pathway. So it's something that I highly recommend if anybody's willing. There's a lot of people who don't have the opportunity to serve and wish that they would have. So I highly encourage anybody who has that interest to explore it. My stepson right now is in Marine Corps boot camp, and so I get to be on the other side as a parent, looking at what military service means to that family. And it's very different from this side as it was from just me or my husband going through. So it's something that I highly encourage.
That's great. Do you think it's helped you like with your new role in the civilian sector working with United Health Group?
My military service?
Yeah.
I'm in a very unique role that I get to focus on military employment. And so I feel like my experience has definitely led me to be able to be successful in this space as somebody who has grown as a career counselor and being able to grow in rank as we start to take care of other sailors, other Marines. It set me up for success to be able to listen to what people want, to be able to help them translate their skills into what corporate America sees as valuable. I've just been so honored to be able to be a part of that. And the military service has set me up for that. Even my predecessor mentioned that she wishes she would have had some exposure to the military before she was thrown into this role as the recruiter. And so bringing me on behind her, knowing that I had that military background, was a key element of what they wanted when it came to what this role does.
That makes a lot of sense. And last week on a private call, we talked about the differences between the services and how when you came in the role, you're starting to learn the cultures of the other branches and how to work with their commands, especially when it comes to Skillbridge, which is a great segue to you talking a little bit about the program at UnitedHealth Group and how that works for transitioning service members.
Yes, absolutely. We have a friendly sibling rivalry within the services, but being able to help each individual service member figure out what their individual command needs to be able to get approved to come on board has been really rewarding. So I know a lot more about the Army and the Air Force than I ever did before. So our program with the military fellowship is aligned with the DoD Skillbridge program, and we are a standalone approved program that we can bring on service members in the ways that we see fit. And our program is actually quite unique in that we're very flexible with our dates and timelines. Anything over 90 days up to the full 180 days is something that we can consider as a fellowship opportunity. And we also don't have open opportunities that we try to fill with a peg in a square hole. Instead, we really want to focus on what the service member is looking for and the skills that they want to bring to corporate America and create a program for them out of their specific transition. So it's very individualized, which has been quite exciting to see over the past year that I've been here, because we really get to focus on them as people. And that's something that a lot of people don't get is an actual thing in life outside of the military. So it's been very successful so far. We've been able to convert 3 out of our 4 people in the last 3 years to full-time employment. So it's been a very strong pathway to that post-transition success.
That is great. Can you give maybe one example of one of the folks who came on board full time and, what their story was? Obviously, you don't need to use their names, but if how did they find out about you and how did that look for them?
Yeah, I will. One of our Air Force members who was stationed up in Alaska, he was very concerned because he stayed in Alaska. And that's something that's not easy to look for when it comes to employment, being in a location that doesn't necessarily have a lot of in-person roles. So we were able to find him a role that was fully remote, which is 90% of our Skillbridge participants are fully remote. And he came on board in our human resources space, which we call the people team. So he was able to learn over 4 months' time what human resources looks like from a civilian aspect and showcase his skills as a senior enlisted leader within the Air Force and what HR means to the service. And his skills just matched so well with what people want to see when it comes to employee relations and the different ways of managing people as a corporation. And he was able to come on board full time before his separation date when he was on his terminal leave status. And he's been just phenomenal ever since. He's a huge advocate for the program, very active on the different job boards and LinkedIn, as well as the base in Alaska, sharing those service members with UnitedHealth Group so that we can provide that avenue for somebody who's maybe not in Minnesota, which is where our headquarters are.
That's great. So was he any type of administrative or HR in the Navy, or did he have just the skill set as a human being that he got from the military? Because I know not everybody who is a fighter pilot is going to get out and be an airline pilot. So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. No, he was not an administrative MOS. I can't remember exactly what he was, but he was Air Force, and I want to say he was a mechanic of some sort. But he utilized his skills that he learned as he gained his rank and his management and leadership. As we start to become NCOs and staff NCOs, that's almost all of our day is taking care of other people. And those skills are what we showcased and what he's still using today.
And I think that's great because it is true. You might have your MOS that you went in with, but after years and years of managing teams, and especially in the military, they let really young people manage other people pretty early on in your career. And so you kind of get to learn by doing in the military, where a lot of civilian positions you aren't. And oftentimes, as you know, they want to fit your exact MOS with your exact civilian job description. And it really, I think they overlook really great candidates when that's kind of their focus. And it seems like you're trying to say this person might have been a mechanic, but his leadership skills are perfect for this.
Exactly. Yes. And we have an MOS algorithm that you could put your MOS into our career site, and it will give you aligned roles. But for the fellowship program, we don't do that. We have a one-on-one face-to-face conversation to hear from the service member, what is it that you want to do for your next career, and how could we try to find that as far as placement goes within our org.
That's great. So if someone is watching this and they're transitioning out, whether they're going to the reserves or whether they're going to just completely leave service, how should they approach getting into the fellowship or even asking about it? And is there something I know there's two sides. They got to talk to their command and they've got to find out if you have any fellowship slots available. So would love to hear about that from you, what they can do.
Absolutely. I will go ahead and share my screen to show our career site. So this careers.unitedhealthgroup.com is our career site. And that's for anybody, whether they are active duty, looking to transition out. If they are going into the reserves, that is not something that is ever held against any employee. So those who are eligible for Skillbridge and going into reserve status is a great way of doing that. Or if you're looking for direct hire, you're already a reservist and you don't have a full-time role, or you're looking to change, this is the site to go to, careers.unitedhealthgroup.com. Now, if you are a transitioning service member looking for Skillbridge, then I encourage you to go to the Join Us tab and click Military and Veterans, and that will bring you to the fellowship page where you could submit your contact form and interest in that will connect with me to let me know that you have interest, and I'll be reaching out directly to the service members once they submit that form.
That's great. Is there anything else that you think would be important for people to know about what your role is and how you can help, or how they can even be in touch with you?
Absolutely. We have a very strong veteran community here at UHG. We have a number of senior leaders and veterans within our organization that just want to give back and want to help. So if there's questions, whether it be about the fellowship or direct employment or military spouse employment, I encourage you to reach out to us on our LinkedIn group, United Health Group LinkedIn group for military veterans and military fellowship. And also, I'd love for you to put my email up on the screen, barb.beltram@optum.com, so that we can connect you with the leaders throughout the organization that want to give back and provide that connection to any of our military affiliated brothers and sisters out there.
Great. And I am writing that down right now. Make sure that everyone gets your email, and I will link also to the LinkedIn group so that people can find it. And then that way, right in the post, you should be able to see it. If you're watching this, it should be there. So thank you so much for your time. If there's anything you ever want to share with ROA and our audience and our members, please feel free to contact us. We love to have you on again and share any updates that you might have. But we thank you so much for today and your time in meeting with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kaylin. I look forward to connecting with your members and seeing what we can do to continue to expand our veteran population here at United Health Group.
Great. Thank you so much.